Hey guys, welcome back to Worship Guitar Sound. Today I want to talk about that sound that you just heard and how to get that sound. That's a sound that I use on Sunday almost every week, and the purpose of that sound is for a lot of things. The delay is something that I'll be using for any delayed sections, and then this big reverb sound is going to be for big washy sections of songs and for kind of more worshipful moments. So I'm going to show you how to get this sound today. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to look at is our delay section. So here I'm using a DD500, and what we have is our vintage digital mode. So let's go there. This is a slightly warmer digital delay, but still has some of that analog character to it, which is why I like it. So the setting that we're at, it's about effect level of 60, which something to know on these pedals is they go to 120. So 60 is really our halfway point. So we'll go ahead and get that set to 60. Our feedback, I usually set this at about 30, 29, something in that range, where really you're going to hear about 6 or 7 repeats of your note before it's totally faded out. So the tone, I want this to be just behind noon. So noon is going to be where you really get a very bright, kind of same as your guitar sound. I like it to be a little darker, so let's hear that. So you can hear it's a little bit darker. And then here, this is a modulation. So with that modulation all the way up, here's what that sounds like. You may hear the note kind of do a chorusing sound. That's what we're hearing there. So I liked a little bit of that because it gives the note a little more complexity. So this is the delay section that we'll be using. So it kind of sits behind the note, but sounds real nice. Let's go ahead and stop that for a second. And secondly, it's really just a delay and a reverb. So let's go ahead and check the reverb now. So this is the sound of the setting that we were using. Real long tail, really nice sound. So here's what I'm doing. So real quickly, a walkthrough on the Blue Sky. So there's 2 modes. You have your favorite mode and your bypass. Favorite is a saved setting, so it doesn't apply to anything that's on the pedal right now. Bypass is exactly what applies here. So this turns on and off the sound, and when the favorite switches off, that's the settings that are on the pedal. So we'll go ahead and do this for now. And let's walk through that setting. So what I was doing is setting this decay at about 75%, really about 3 o'clock or so, and do this to taste. So we're gonna go ahead with the normal mode. And then secondly, I'm gonna move this here to the room setting. And like I had said in my first video, the room setting is kind of a hall setting when it's turned up into a higher decay. So then mix again to taste. This is gonna be different based on your amp, and if you're feeding a clean signal versus a slightly overdriven amp signal, or your effects loop. So use this to taste, but let's go ahead and listen to what I'm getting and see if this is kind of what you're looking for as well. So the high damp, let's go ahead and start here where we've got just these settings to hear what that sounds like. So right now the high damp and the low damp have no frequencies disengaged. So what I like to do is pull off some of that high frequency. That lets your notes on your guitar still shine through. So as you can hear, the reverb's getting a bit darker, but it's still got a ton of low end. So let's scoop some of that out as well. So now really the reverb is a mid-range thing, which is what I like. Now finally, pre-delay. This tells us when the reverb turns on. So right now the reverb is turning on immediately as it hears the note. I want that to cut back maybe 10, 15 milliseconds, which really, it's around there, So what that does, again, it lets your attack of your note still stay. However, it turns the reverb on later. So the idea there is that you still maintain the clarity with this huge reverb wash. So here's what we have. A nice big reverb sound, but again, not being so overpowering that you can't play on it. So let's hear the two together. This also does really nicely with volume swells. Let's try some of those. Great, well that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you loved it. If you did, hit the subscribe button. We've got more videos coming here from Worship Guitar Sound. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.